Hi everyone, today we're going to read a Peppa Pig book called George's Digger. Subscribe to my channel, press that button below and follow me. You'll find even more Peppa Pig books in my collection. I also have Hey Dougie books and Bluey books, so do check out my other videos. Now let's begin. George's Digger. One sunny morning, Mummy Pig took Peppa and George to the shops. Now where shall we pop in first? Asked Mummy Pig. Toy sale, shouted Mr. Fox. Discount dolls, bargain blocks, cut price cuddlies. Peppa gasped. Mummy, can we go to the toy sale? Please. Toys, toys, cheered George. I suppose so, said Mummy Pig. It was very busy inside Mr. Fox's shop, but Peppa and George had lots of fun looking around. You can pick one thing each, said Mummy Pig, smiling, so choose carefully. Thank you, Mummy, cried Peppa, hurrying off to find a toy. But George had already spotted something special. Digger, he whispered, picking up a shiny toy digger. Excellent choice, George, said Mr. Fox. That'll be £1, please, Mummy Pig. After the shopping trip, Mummy Pig took Peppa and George to Granny and Grandpa Pig's house for the afternoon. Hello, little ones, said Grandpa Pig. Did you have a nice morning? Yes, cheered Peppa. We went to the shops and got this. It's a croquet set. Digger, said George, holding up his digger. Oh my, said Granny Pig. What excellent toys. While Peppa and Granny Pig played croquet, Grandpa Pig let George use the digger on his vegetable patch. First dig a little hole in the dirt, said Grandpa Pig, then pop in a seed. Dig, dig, said George, using his digger to make a hole. That's perfect, George, said Grandpa Pig. Thanks to your little digger, we'll get these seeds planted in no time. When Daddy Pig arrived later to pick up Peppa and George, a very muddy surprise was waiting for him. George and his digger have been helping me in the garden, explained Grandpa Pig. I see, said Daddy Pig, laughing. Well, it's a good job it's bath time. At home, George took his digger into the bath and used it to scoop up all the bubbles. Then at bedtime, he used it to tuck Mr. Dinosaur into bed too. Night-night, digger, George mumbled as he drifted off to sleep. The next morning, Daddy Pig had a surprise for Peppa and George. I've been designing a new miniature golf course, he said. It's nearly ready, so I thought we'd go and see it. But George wanted to stay at home and play with his digger. Daddy Pig smiled. You can bring your little digger with you, George, and there'll be a real digger at the construction site too. Digger, George cheered, hurrying off to get ready. The construction site was very busy. Mr. Bull and his crew were putting the finishing touches in place. Down, left, right, no, the other right, bellowed Mr. Bull as the crane operator set the little windmill on the course. Hello, Mr. Bull, said Daddy Pig. I've brought Peppa and George for a tour. Wonderful, said Mr. Bull. We're nearly done, so I'll show you around myself. Mr. Bull showed them the wrecking ball. We use this to smash, shouted Peppa and George. Exactly, said Mr. Bull, knocking things down for fun. Next, they visited the cement mixer. Cement takes a little while to dry. Mr. Bull warned, but it makes lovely smooth paths. Then he showed them the dump truck. We use this for moving sand and gravel, he said. But George wasn't listening. He had spotted something much more exciting. Digger, George cheered, pointing. It looks just like yours, George, said Peppa. My digger is great for digging big holes, said Mr. Bull. Would you like to give it a try? Mr. Bull drove the digger, but he let Peppa and George press some very important buttons. Dig, dig, George cried as he helped Mr. Bull dig a humongous hole. We'll fix this with sand, said Mr. Bull. It'll make a great bunker. By the time Peppa and George's tour was complete, a crowd had gathered for the course's grand opening. Peppa gasped. There are so many visitors. It's a good job we finished everything on time, Mr. Bull chuckled. Daddy Pig was in charge of cutting the ribbon. He grabbed a pair of scissors and cleared his throat. Right, he said, I declare this miniature golf course open. Hooray! Everyone cheered. While the visitors started their game, Mr. Bull took Pepper and George and Daddy Pig to his tent for refreshments. "Would you like some tea?" asked Mr. Bull, "or perhaps some cake?" Mr. Bull had just finished slicing a delicious chocolate cake for everyone when Mr. Rhino appeared. "Mr. Bull, Daddy Pig," panted Mr. Rhino, "there's a problem with the course." Oh dear, Mr. Rhino was right. The construction crew had done an amazing job on Daddy Pig's designs, but they had forgotten something very important. "There aren't any holes for the balls," cried Peppa. "Ah," said Mr. Bull, scratching his head. "Mr. Digger only digs very big holes. I can't fix it with that." Luckily, George had an idea. "Digger!" George cheered suddenly, waving his little digger in the air. "Ooh," said Peppa, "clever George." She whispered George's plan to Daddy Pig and Mr. Bull, and they all squeezed into the nearby golf cart. Daddy Pig drove them around the course, and George used his little digger to dig perfect little holes in all the right places. Dig, dig. Mr. Bull inspected George's work. "My digger is great for digging big holes," he said, "but George's digger is perfect for digging little holes. I declare this miniature golf course open." "Again," Daddy Pig told the crowd. "Hooray!" everyone cheered. Soon, everyone was having lots of fun hitting their balls over dinosaurs, through fairy tale castles, and into George's freshly dug holes. Pepper and George had a great time playing miniature golf together. "Thank you for saving the day, George," said Mr. Bull. "Your little digger is fantastic." "Digger!" cried George happily. "Hee. George loves this digger. Everyone loves George's digger." The end. Hope you enjoyed that. That was Peppa Pig, George's Digger. Subscribe to my channel, press that button below and follow me where you'll find even more Peppa Pig books in my collection. Do check out my other videos. Bye bye for now.